Questions from from upstairs?
Chris Johnson, NASCAR Illustrated. Kurt, your teammate said that you took him around the track on Friday and kind of helped him out, and he came home with the top 10 today as well. Can you just talk about the level of teamwork that you have now at Penske, and also when you started to feel more comfortable with this type of racing? I mean, you were close at Watkins Glen last year, finishing second. When did it start to feel like, I don't know, you're solid here?
It's a good feeling to know that the two teams are working as closely together as they ever have, knowing that Brad is definitely maturing. Seeing him bust off a top 10 at a road course is great. You know, he went around the racetrack, and I pointed out some of the apex points, exit points, shifting points, and he absorbed it like a sponge. And that's what it takes as a veteran of the team to help the kid that's coming up through, and to have his information help us. That's exactly what's helped both teams get stronger. And Steve can jump in on this and say how the crew chiefs are working together. The guys back at the shop are slapping me high fives since we've turned things around. It's been great.
Yeah, Paul has got great ideas, and we sit down in each other's offices for long periods of time and talk about the direction that we needed to go in. We go to lunch every single day, except maybe one every of the week, and we talk about what direction we need to work in and what we need to work on and to make it better. And you have to push for stuff. I mean, you go in there with a list that's this long. You know, you got to pick out the major hitters to what we need to go fast right now, and that's what we've done. And it's great to have a guy over there that's a racer. It just wants to make our race cars better, along with me, and that's been the big key is we push for things that we need to go fast right now.
No more questions. Thank you. Okay, down here we'll take a question right here and then come back over here.
Kurt, Mark Billingsley, Sacramento Bee. Talk a little bit more about that retribution and how NASCAR's kind of basically said to the drivers, settle it on the course. Talk about, have you had a scrum with somebody so far this season, and how did you settle it?
Yeah, I mean, it's great to know that you don't have to look over your shoulder and have NASCAR come down on you with a big fine or a penalty when you want to rough it up on the track. I mean, this sport was based off of guys roughing each other up. That's that good short track racing that we see. The good old door slamming, bumper to bumper. You know, that's the heritage of our sport. And times had gotten interesting through the mid-'90s, 2000s on the driver etiquette and what you had to do to race somebody. Now it's more open to old school racing. I like old school. I'm an old school kind of guy. I always laugh with and joke with my friends on saying, man, I should have grew up in the 80s. I'd have been a much better guy because I'm not very politically correct. That's why we get along.
Next question.
Hey, Kurt. Phil Barber, Santa Rosa Press, Democrat. You ran here a lot early in your career in the Southwest races. Did that history make today even more meaningful for you? And was there a time back in those days when you could have pictured yourself winning a Sprint Cup race on this track?
Yeah, thank you for asking me that question. I love the grassroots racing and the way that this track Infineon has always supported that K&N West Series, or back in the day when I ran the Southwest Tour race, that is the Saturday support race. Teams and crew chiefs or driver owners are watching what's going on out on the track to see who's making passes where and different trends. And I raced here in 98, finished third my first time here, won it in 99. And I always thought I could do it on a road course, and it's just taken me a few years to finally pull it together on the Cup side. But I think in 2002, I might even have found a top 5 finish here when I was with Roush Racing early on. I've always loved road racing. I've just struggled to put it together at the end of the races, whether it's run-ins with other drivers or running out of fuel. But I've even had the chance to stand on the podium at Daytona during the Grand American Rolex Series 24-hour race. I love road racing. It's fun. I've done drag racing. That's a gas as well, but definitely want to stick with the NASCAR side of it as long as I can.
Okay.
Kurt.
Next question over here.
Tom Fitzgerald from San Francisco Chronicle. You've said that it was especially sweet to beat Jeff Gordon today. But getting back to that race last year, he apologized to several people for his actions during the race last year, but not to you. And he said today that he didn't feel he owed you an apology because you had run him off the track on a restart. Is that your recollection of that too?
Not at all.
What was your recollection of that?
My recollection was a flat right rear tire, and I've got an in-car camera from somebody else that proves he drove straight through us. But that's last year. You know, we got him back at Martinsville in October. You know, it wasn't my normal style to pay somebody back like that. I just usually race somebody a lot harder when they step over the line. And him and I have always had a great relationship of where we're genuine racers with each other, and I respect him. I mean, he's third on our all-time list. He's a 4-time champion. I'm not going to get sideways with a guy like that, but I'm going to let him know he can't walk all over me.
Okay, we got a question over here, and then we'll come back to Lee.
Kelsey Olson, KSTO Radio. Can you describe what it's like to go across the finish line? Because so many of us watch you and just can only imagine what you're feeling.
It's a great sense of satisfaction. All the hard work from the guys back at the race shop where it starts, the times that we've tested, the execution here at the racetrack this weekend. You see it all come together, and when you know you have a shot at victory, you have to block those moments out and get the car to that finish line. And today, to grab the checkered flag, do some donuts, and drive in reverse around the track, to drive backwards around this road course, I got choked up. It was a great feeling to know that I've won on a road course.
Lee.
Lee Spencer, Fox Sports. I have two questions for you. First, were you surprised that Jeff came to victory lane to congratulate you? And secondly, when you have a car as good as your car was today, I mean, isn't that like the ultimate way to play offense? Because people can't really catch you to screw around with you like they can when you're having to come up through the field. I mean, it's just when you were up front or even when you were coming back after a pit stop, you could just roll with it. And, I mean, you know, there has to be some satisfaction in that. Yeah,
it was nice for Jeff to come up to victory lane. You know, it's nice and convenient from pit road to walk by and say hi. But it was just one of those moments where it's like, hey, you know, we do respect each other. And to have a dominant car, he knew that it would be tough for him to catch us today. And to have that good of a car, that's where you feed off the crew on, hey, I'm going to go out there early. I told Steve and try to gain some positions. We were still unsure if we were going to make it on a two-stop strategy. But with the lap times we could run, we could maintain pace above those guys doing the short pit. We've seen that a lot this year, and Steve can jump in and say some things about it, where guys are short pitting and gaining a lot of track position.
Yeah, that was the key. It was when he got the lead from the 11 car, and we set the pace that we were setting, and I was watching the car on TV, and we weren't jumping curves and stuff like that, and it's like, okay, we're not absolutely pushing the car to the limit. It just what I was thinking to myself, so I felt like we'll just go to our lap. We'll do our thing, and these guys are pitting, and it makes you nervous. It makes your stomach gets all knotted up, and you feel like you're getting behind. But I felt like the car was good enough that if we did get caught behind, what he did at the beginning of the race, and as smooth as he drove that car all day long, that we could get back if we gave up anything.
Okay, any other questions for Steve or Kurt? Gentlemen, congratulations, and see you next week in Daytona.
Great, thank you.